Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to share the negotiation that happens after an intense moment. Also, what we're up to while we're in Nova Scotia. Stay tuned. So today is August 15th, I believe, and we've had our first breakdown, which was the steps that automatically go in and out only went halfway back in, which led to an interesting conversation, but that's for another time. And so this is not bad for 3,000 miles to have this be our first little glitch. So Stephen is siliconing and greasing everything about the step. We're at an RV repair place, so if this doesn't do it, hopefully we can get some other help. But meanwhile, we're having a whole deal here about a fix. And look at that 72-year-old man down there. Just like he's 25 years old. Laying on his back. Very impressive. Here's another glance at another part of Nova Scotia, out in the country, just outside of Amherst. And I'm going to take you to a view I just saw over the hill. That mountain you see across is actually New Brunswick, and we're in Nova Scotia. And in between us is the Bay of Fundy, which is famous for its incredible tides. 40 feet when the tide goes in or out. And that's where we're headed today after we get this step deal fixed. But it's pretty So here it is fixed. We avoided tragedy, or at least a big bill. Once again, down the road we go. As I just showed you, we were able to get the step to go back in with a little bit of, we've had quite a bit of rain. And what did you say happened? It just dried out?
Well, it washed
debris?
Yeah, it kind of, you can't get away with that in a wet situation.
Yeah.
It washed the underside quite a bit.
So we hadn't been doing maintenance on the step at all since we got it, right? So it just caught up with us. Another reminder of how important maintenance is. But here's what I would like to talk about, because before we came up with our solution, we had a little bit of difficulty. And I'm going to describe the difficulty and then you chime in, okay? So whenever something goes wrong, the first thing I want to do is research. See what we can learn from our manuals, see what we can learn from YouTube. And the first thing Stephen wants to do is go find somebody to help him. And so we got into some difficulty there for a few minutes. And he got on the phone trying to find that helper. And I guess the biggest problem we had is when I said we weren't going to drive with the step halfway out. And you said?
Well, I was lined up, I had my eye lined up at that very moment with how far was the step out. And I was finding that the step was out no further than the awning is out all the time. So
okay,
my difference on my right side was negligible as far as operating. The main thing was you didn't crawl down there and look at whether it was safe. You said, we're not driving like that. You say, I'm afraid to drive like that.
And it offended you, and you got your back on, right?
It's, it's cold prickly, not a warm fuzzy, so
So we had to find our way back around that.
Yeah.
And
By the way, you found your way back around that very quickly. You said, what if I said I'm not comfortable doing that? I said, that would be perfectly fine.
yeah, so we escaped the big deal argument. But what's interesting is that I really like to know why it isn't your go-to thing to look at the resources we have.
Well, and that was
And how the,
and I was going to correct you about that because what I did is I got up on there and I looked at it. I worked it a couple of times. I saw the mechanism work, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't work. And then you said, "There's a book. There's a book." Well, I've been looking at the 3D piece, but I thought it was smart to look at the book before I went and paid any great amount to have it fixed. So I agreed to look at the book, but my mind was already on resourcing something else. But the YouTube you found was quite good because it showed exactly where to look at it, and I would have missed it. I would have been like 99% of the people and missed where the ball bearings were and what was going on with it. So
so what have we learned from this? Anything?
I should have married YouTube.
No.
It doesn't talk back.
That when we have a problem, can we immediately start researching and looking at YouTube to find out if we have resources that don't include finding a repair shop?
That might be something good to agree to. It won't work unless you have Wi-Fi.
Right. Yeah, but we did have Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So anyway,
Yeah. So
the story is it was intense and it passed.
Yeah. And I really thank you for how fast you got off of your...
My way or the highway?
Yeah.
Okay.
It shows the dikes where the French built the dike and all. Show the quilty looking area, all that they reclaimed, all that farmland.
And then what happened?
And then the British came in with
The
muskets.
dastardly British.
The dastardly British came in with muskets and pointed them at the poor French people.
And then did what with the French people?
They put them on boats
That's just crazy.
and took them away.
We arrived in Wolfville, Nova Scotia on the Bay of Fundy for our first Harvest Host stay at a local farm. Our host recommended the best sites for us to visit, and the first was to the Grand Prix National Monument, commemorating the lives of the Acadian people who settled this area in the 1600s, only to be rounded up by the British and deported to many different places, including Louisiana, where over time they came to be known as the Cajuns. Stephen and I were in tears as we were taking in the stories of these remarkable people. We were reminded of the long line of atrocities humanity has committed towards our fellow human beings and all the suffering it's caused. We are now so intimately aware of how the suffering continues and how unspeakable acts of violence still happen every day. No wonder we cried. We had to see the tidal difference, and our host recommended we go to Hall's Harbor to see it, and it was picturesque, and we were not disappointed.
Okay, this is a Bay of Fundy. This is a harbor in the Bay of Fundy, and you can actually see a little wave coming in. That's a tidal wave, and the kids used to surf it. They used to get in canoes and go up rivers riding on it. But this was mud when we got here maybe 30-40 minutes ago. All this stretch was just mud. And I took a picture of kids standing here, And this boat in the background. And there's Britt. She's showing, that's where it's going to come to before we leave. Britt is opening her drink, her sophisticated Diet Coke, at the sophisticated lobster picnic table at the Bay of Fundy, Hall's Harbor, named after Captain Hall, who I don't think he was a pirate.
Yeah, he was.
He was a pirate?
Well, it says that about pirates, yeah.
Maybe a pirate. We'll have to check that out. Okay, now it's 5:05 p.m. here. It's been coming in, I'm thinking 30 minutes, the better part of an hour. And it's about to float these boats. Here sits Britt struggling with lobster that's not served like they do at Red Lobster at home. It is red, at least.
And his eye is staring at me.
But it's hard to get.
So in the same year, we witnessed the 2 places on the planet with the largest tidal changes. The first was in Puerto Penasco, Mexico in March. But seeing the boat sitting on the ocean floor and walking on it was fantastic. I don't think I'll ever forget sitting outdoors eating fresh caught lobster from the Bay of Fundy and watching this natural wonder right in front of my eyes. Finally, for the day, the last recommended place that our host gave us was Lookoff Mountain, which was across the valley where we could actually see the coach on a hill, and a great expanse of the Bay of Fundy and a large part of Nova Scotia, which isn't very big.